Okay, YouTube, just a quick video. I'm working on my 2009 F-150 front brakes. Yesterday I was driving a truck and I noticed that the front brakes were hanging up. Normally when the truck's in drive and I take my foot off the brake, it will start rolling. Yesterday I was at a stoplight and took my foot off the brake and the truck didn't roll. And then it just felt like, there was something causing it to drag. And then I could actually smell the brake burning. So I wasn't too far away from home, so I got it home and let it cool off. So this is the next morning. And so what I did, took the caliper off. And first thing to check is the sides. And they move pretty freely, so it's not the caliper hanging up. My suspicion is that this hose is bad, and the way I figured that out, when I went to take the caliper off, it was very hard to get it off. Normally if you wiggle the caliper a little bit, you compress the pistons enough that you can get the caliper off the bracket. I couldn't do that, so I opened up the bleeder and wiggled the caliper, and then I could get it off the bracket. So that was my first indication that I might have a problem with the hose. The next thing I did, when I went to compress the caliper using a C-clamp and an old brake shoe, it was very difficult to compress the caliper with the bleeder closed. When you open the bleeder up, it compresses easily as it should. The caliper should compress easily with a C-clamp. And that tells me I had a problem with the hose. What can happen, the inside of the hose can break down and it acts like a check valve, so fluid can go one direction and not the other. That's why whenever you're doing a brake job, they tell you not to hang the caliper by the hose or twist the hose or damage the hose in any way. But they can just go bad from age. A couple months ago, I had the same problem on the driver's side, and the caliper was hanging up, and it turned out to be the hose. And it was interesting. You could actually push air through the hose in one direction, not the other, telling me I had a check valve situation. So what I'm doing is I'm going to replace the hose. You take this clip for the anti-lock brakes. There's a little screwdriver in there. You just pop the clip. This clip here just pulls out of there. So that way you can get at the little clip here and the nut, the two nuts to take the hose off. So I'm actually going to replace the hose and the caliper and the brakes. Even though the caliper is technically good, while I'm in here I might as well do it. Anyway, just a tip, if you're doing brakes on an F-150, these hoses do go bad. You may want to consider, if you're doing brakes, changing out, putting a new hose in while you're doing the brakes to avoid a problem down the road. So hope this video helps. I gave you a couple tips on how to tell if your hose is bad, if the caliper doesn't compress like it should. Suspect the hose. So good luck. Talk to you later.